cyclist Dr. Vince Marcel here. My wife just told me something funny. You're here talking about step number 6. We're trying to find the maximum power to be able to deliver from your beautiful legs in through those pedals, and that's going to be setting up your seat forward aft. And so we're going to go ahead. We have 2 little pieces. I have a plumb line here. Some of you might have one of these. Some of you might not know what it is or where to get one. Sometimes you can use stuff around your house. You can go ahead and use a sewing thread with a paper clip or some dental floss, paper clip, and also with a safety pins, or even my wife just mentioned a key. We want something just to hang to be able to go ahead and find where that point's going to be. So we're going to go ahead and do a plumb line. Even though I'm on a TT bike, I'm going to show you the 2 positions, and my wife's going to go ahead and come in right and show you where we're going to be doing that. So we're going to show on a TT position as well as a road bike. Okay, let's get started. Here we go. Now, if you have a friend or a loved one that's able to help you out, they can go ahead and use the plumb line, put it off your knee. This would allow you to bring the crank level and hold your right brake, which would be the rear brake, so you can relax your foot. If you don't, you have to do it by yourself. It's just going to take a little bit more balancing and just putting a little pressure on the left leg to keep the right leg from going forward. So we're going to go ahead on a TT position. For me on this bike, I'm always checking to see where this leg is driving power through that foot. So I come off the middle of the knee, and for me, I'm dropping right about the second toe, but right at about the first digit, right where the digit for the big toe is. So it allows me to show that I'm driving through. If my float was set up out, you can see where my knee begins to turn out and my plumb line goes to the outside of the foot. Now we have to remember that in anatomy, we have a bigger foot and a smaller, if we have a bigger toe on the inside and a smaller on the outside. So more weight is able to be directed towards the inside of the foot versus the out. So if your plumb line is being dropped to the outside of the foot and you're driving all that pressure through the outside of the foot, or on a hill, you're going to be putting more pressure through these little toes and little bones, and that's where people are getting neuromas, they're getting pinching of nerves, they're getting hot foot, they're going ahead and having other issues of symptoms. And so I would ask you to think about designing your own low plumb line, seeing where you're at. Think about on a TT bike, we're going to be dropping through the second toe approximately, and about the range of where the first digit, where the knuckle is. Sometimes it'll go all the way to the tip of the shoe on a TT bike. For a road bike, we're going to go ahead and be dropping to the end of the crank on a road bike. So my wife might be able to get that in. I'm just showing you where that plumb line comes in and where the tip of the crank is. She comes right over my shoe. You can sort of see that a little bit. Come a little bit farther over my shoe, honey. There you go. So that's showing where it's dropping down the tip of the crank. If I go ahead, if you come back up, honey, if we come off as other fitters that use a plumb line, sometimes they'll come off the inside of your femur, and off of that they're seeing where that lines up, and now that should line up over the spindle, but it doesn't tell me where I'm directing or where I'm putting power through. So I like personally coming off the knee so I can see where that power is being generated from my leg and through the shoe and through the spindle of the pedal. So on the to recap, dropping through the middle of the knee, should drop down approximately with your foot, should go ahead and come down to about the second toe, and with the TT position, it's going to go ahead and be about the lineup of the first joint space on the big toe to the end of the shoe. Or on a road bike, you're going to be dropping down towards the end of the crank when going through the middle of the knee. This is Dr. Vince from Infinity Bike Seat. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.